Good morning. A little different setup this morning. It's good to be home. My name's Michael Heath, and this is my daily live stream. Today we'll be going on for 30 minutes. I'm going to end it at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. I switched up my camera angles and lighting a little bit. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for joining me. It's exciting to start down this road of daily live streams with you. Yesterday mornings was early at 5 a.m. with Martin Buskman from Dayton, Ohio. He did a great job sharing the story of recent encounters he had at a theme park local to him. So check that out when you get a chance on the archive at michaelheath.tv, michaelheath.tv. I'm so grateful to my son, Jared, from altatech.com for providing me with that unique platform that isn't reliant upon or connected to American big tech in any way. It uses a distributed, decentralized form of internet technology called PeerTube to make your viewing of my videos likely to happen should you choose to click through to watch them. If you have any issues or problems, please let me know. But and I'm just now personally becoming aware of and getting started with using PeerTube, so I can use all the feedback that you can give me about it. I don't have to worry about being throttled in my reach or canceled, having my account canceled if I build on michaelheath.tv. Whereas if I put time in and money in to building on YouTube, X, Facebook, or Instagram, it's guaranteed that it's only a matter of time before I get canceled, because I'm a Christian and I don't I talk about issues that have become impossible to talk about honestly on the internet. And as each day passes, it's becoming more and more difficult to find acceptable vocabulary to meaningfully discuss an increasing number of social issues, because we've allowed the unhinged left, which is running helter-skelter into the arms of communism here in America, to gain so much power over our and in our institutions. So there's a correction that's been ongoing now for years. We Christians need to ramp up our dedication to prayer if we're going to succeed in this war. And so this morning, I want to start this Sunday morning, November 2nd, live stream with traditional Christian prayer that is that happens routinely within the Roman Catholic tradition. And if you're Protestant, I love you. Spent all of my life until Easter of 2020 as a Protestant. My parents are Protestant. My wife's Protestant. I love Protestants, evangelicals. I love everybody. I mean, I love humanity, but I especially love Christians. and have a lot in common with religious people, especially Christians, because we are willing to talk about God and think about God and pray to God. So if you're offended, please try not to be offended, if you wouldn't mind. I'm going to pray to an angel, okay? I'm going to pray to Saint Michael. This is a tradition in the largest segment of Christianity in the world. That would be Eastern Orthodoxy and Roman Catholicism. They pray to the saints, they pray to the angels, they pray to Mary. It's tens of millions, hundreds of millions of humans do this. I know you don't because you're a Protestant. That's okay. I respect that. Pray in your own way. At the same time that I'm going to pray to Saint Michael. Oh, glorious Saint Michael, Prince of the heavenly court, pray for us now and at the hour of our death. According to this card right here that I got at a local Roman Catholic church, by invoking his aid in time of sickness, it's good to frequently repeat that prayer to Saint Michael. By praying fervently to Saint Michael if we find it hard to conquer a temptation, tempted to scroll porn, tempted to drink too much, tempted to swear, tempted, right? By praying fervently to Saint Michael, if we find it hard to conquer a temptation or to correct some fault, he will assuredly help us to overcome the most violent, the most inveterate temptations. And they encourage you to have a picture. I'm pretty sure that my grandmother, who was a devout Catholic, had a little statue, and I think it was Saint Michael. It might have been Mary, but I'm not sure, but I think it was Saint Michael in her car. I remember that as a little boy. So the Saint Michael prayer, which was written by Pope Leo XIII, our current Pope, Leo XIV, took his name from 13th Leo, who lived and served the church in the late 1800s, wrote a powerful analysis of Americanism that you really should take time to read. But he wrote this prayer, and it was prayed after Mass routinely, I think, at all Masses until Vatican II. Someone who's watching or listening can correct me if I'm wrong about that. I also want to mention that if you want to type in a comment, I will see the comment and I can flash it on the screen, a comment or a question as I live stream. Anytime I'm live streaming, you can comment during the live stream and or ask a question, and I'll see it. I'll be able to see it. I'm looking over here on my screen to where it will show up. If you're, by the way, thinking of live streaming yourself, and I encourage you to do that, you can take a look at StreamYard. There's a free version of it that can enable you to get going with StreamYard and begin the process of building an audience without a monthly charge. But once you get going with it, the throttling of features becomes an issue, and you'll be pushed toward a subscription. And this is what I need help paying for because I'm retired. I live on Social Security, and I can't afford to communicate as frequently and with as much depth using the internet as I want to, unless you help me, you and others help me. The best thing you can do, of course, is pray. But if you are in a situation where you can afford to make a donation, it's very easy. Just go to michaelheath.org/donate, and you can make a small donation there. I don't want lots of money. I don't want it. I just want enough to pay my subscriptions and pay for my computers and keep this operation, this outreach toward truth and honesty, rooted in truth and honesty, spreading and growing. So this is Pope Leo XIII's prayer to St. Michael. St. Michael, the archangel, defend us in battle, be our protection against the wickedness and snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray, and do thou, O Prince of the heavenly host, by the power of God, cast into hell Satan and all the evil spirits who prowl about the world seeking the ruin of souls. So, got something on my tongue there. Yesterday, I was here. Shoot, right there. And let's put it up here. Right here. Boom. I was here. Anybody recognize that bandstand or that man in the center there? That is a Roman Catholic bishop named Strickland, Bishop Strickland. He's well known among conservative Catholics. And he was the keynote speaker yesterday in the Boston Common. I'm just trying to can't increase the size of this. All right, so maybe there's another way to. Maybe there's another.
Let us go.
So anyway, yeah. So this is Bishop Strickland wrapping up the Men's March to stop the murder of unborn humans in New England, in America, in the West. And of course, everybody knows that the Catholic Church has been the most faithful and direct institution on this issue, going all the way back to its beginnings in America as a legal, now artifact, the Roe versus Wade decision. The Roman Catholics were the first to step up, and they've been the boldest and most consistent along the way in resisting it. And the problem now is worse than ever. Even though Roe versus Wade has been overturned, the problem of murdering babies in the womb is greater now than it's ever been because of how corrupt and dishonest our system has become in Maine, especially in Maine, but also in Massachusetts and all of New England and throughout America and the West. And of course, it's being pushed. So, thankfully, abortion not as much as it was being pushed under the Democrats when they were in power in the executive under Biden. It was pushed globally more so than it is now by under Trump, because Trump uses the issue of murdering babies in the womb as a way to remain connected to his political base, which is the most potent group, most loyal group within his base, especially religiously, are evangelical Protestants, Zionists, and they're pro-life. And he also keeps pro-life Catholics in his corner by delivering on this issue. So does that mean that that America isn't pushing the murder of babies all over the planet? Of course we are. It's just hidden a little bit when the Republicans are in control. That's how corrupt, dishonest, and evil our government has become since the Constitution was written. We've been in a kind of moral decline ever since, especially with respect to what's legal. We've been experiencing a slow, ratcheting decline since we revolted against the King of England and threw off that connection and became our own nation. Supposedly, I don't think we've ever perfectly done it, but supposedly loyal to the Constitution. I think what we've been loyal to most since the beginning is the oligarchy of and England. We've been most loyal to the super rich in North America, in English North America. That's who has commanded our loyalty. And in the 20th century, with new inventions that are rooted in electricity and involve technology, especially the computer, but before the computer and the internet, television, before that, radio, because we are an oligarchy and because these technologies, especially before people were able to do what I'm doing right now affordably, the communications technologies, the technologies that enabled mass communication were hijacked and controlled and manipulated by evil forces very much connected to Jewish ideology. And now ending as we move into a transition period in the United States of America, especially, but also in all of the West. We're moving into a period of dramatic transition, and no one knows how it's going to happen. None of us know. A lot of us are very afraid. Some of us are not so afraid. But there's tremendous, overwhelming reason to be concerned, especially for men and women who have children and grandchildren. I would argue that cohort, that demographic, probably ought to be panicked at this point. Oh my goodness. We love our grandchildren. I love my grandchildren, my 8 grandchildren. So yesterday I spent the whole day with Paul Madore. He's got 40 grandchildren. And we had an outstanding day together. He called me in the morning. Let me just, while I'm talking, I'm just going to page through this photo album. I took these pictures with my phone.
Let us call upon those radiant witnesses.
Yeah, really short video. Okay, so there he is again, Bishop Strickland. What a gorgeous day on the Commons. So Paul Madore calls me in the morning. I'm on my way at like 6 a.m. to Lewiston to grab him and then go and catch up with a gentleman named Ron who drove, and we went with him, and he had made arrangements in a parking garage. It was really wonderful. But Paul pushed himself too hard, and he has a metal knee that he got earlier this year, and so it was swollen and it was messed up because he's doing some work around his house that he pushed it too hard. So he calls me in the morning. I can't go because it included a 3-mile march. And I said, well, of course you can go. We just won't. You and I won't march. Well, Ron can maybe go do the march. It's going to be a beautiful day. It's Boston. Kind of a return visit for us. We've been there many times. I have. He has. But hey, we'll do what old men do. We'll sit on a park bench, and we don't have to feed the pigeons. We can just sit there and watch the world go by. And so that's what we did. And we also went to Cheers, the pub that inspired that sitcom that I never watched, so I don't know anything about it. But we ate in there. We went and had some lunch there. And then we joined the marchers, the men who marched into the Common for the rally, which is what you're seeing pictures of now. And my goodness, what a gorgeous, look at that sky. And it was so pleasant. What a wonderful day to be in the heart of New England, in the Boston Common. This is what passes as art these days. You can't really see it. It's too small in the background there, but it's kind of a coppery color, and it looks like a naked feminine parts or something. It's so strange. All of our art, I feel like, is like, where's the beauty? I don't get it. What is this? What are we doing here? So anyway, I took a picture of that, and then here's something truly beautiful: a tree that God created and sustains. So, actually, I was not taking a picture of the tree. If you look to the left, I don't know if you can see my mouse, but if you see that little dot there, that's a drone that was there the whole time. There were hundreds of policemen there to protect us from what I'm going to show you next. So there's some of the men. There's probably 200 or 300 men there who marched 3 miles from a baby murder slaughterhouse to this site, and then this was the group. So there were the group of people who hated on us was broken too. One was all dressed in black. Both groups, number together probably numbered similar in size to the group of men who were there, and there was a large Antifa group that was all in black and throwing middle fingers and swearing at us and being angry and threatening looking. And then there was this group of clown dressed people with trumpets and trombones and sort of a weird vibe of glee and happiness, basically using the happy vibe to drown out the speakers of the rally was their purpose. So they, you're right, all kinds of people with clown noses. I guess that's the thing. I don't follow the left closely enough to even want to understand their messaging. But there you see some of the musicians. They were pretty good, though, I have to admit. They were able to get kind of loud, and they played together some songs, some band kind of songs. And there you see some of the police. I didn't take a picture of the police on bikes. There was probably 50 bike policemen who were up on a knoll so that they could rush in if needed. Everything was fenced in. You had to have permission to get into the rally site where the men were. But I walked around and took pictures of some of these protesters. And they stayed loud the whole hour that we were. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Oh, these are some videos. That's the man walking in. There you see the Antifa people. The Antifa people. The police. That's a traditional family property. Group of young men. That was great. Their big flag. Boston police. They did a great job. They were there enforced. I never felt that. I don't think I would have.
Right over and grab this second one.
Not in there, but a cop in better stick. Cop in the middle of Boston.
Took his voice away. God bless you guys.
Issue that politicians have made. I thought this was fun. This is the Mass Feminist Struggle Committee. Somebody needs to help these people with branding. The Mass Feminist Struggle Committee. Oh boy. If the Democrats continue down this road, they are not going to exist for much longer, because the American people are moving on from this kind of thing. That's insane. It's not even funny. It's not even, at least the clown people are kind of a little bit winsome and somewhat funny, but this is crazy. Mass Feminist Struggle Committee. Okay. Yeah, they were there, but whoever they are, I'm sure we all want to know, right? So, okay. So anyway, whoops, what's that? I don't know. That was a bill I paid at a grocery store. So yeah, that was yesterday in downtown Boston. I love Boston. It's so historic. We were very near Park Street Church. We didn't get a chance to walk over there, but I've been there a number of times. And the Granary Cemetery, which is on the Freedom Trail. If you're a teacher of history in New England, take time to go and do the Freedom Trail. Take time to get your students into Boston and expose them to the American Revolutionary War period. It's a treat. And Plymouth is also a treat, which is the period in American history that preceded the Revolutionary War by 200 years, 1620. And so Plymouth, Massachusetts is a presentation of that period, which was when the English put down roots in on the coast of North America, which at that time for Europeans, North America was an unwritten book. The French gambled that they were going to make it to Asia quicker if they went down the the St. Lawrence Seaway, and if they established colonies and established a population in the Great Lakes, and because they thought that waterway promised a path or a water road, if you will, to Asia, but of course it doesn't, and it ends with the Great Lakes. But they learned that early, I'm sure, and then they started setting out on land. The French did before the English, out to the west. I don't know if they discovered the Pacific before the English did. I don't know. Probably they did, I'm guessing. But the English, and in those days there was no phones or internet and communications, and of course the French and the English were at odds with one another. They were at war with one another, especially in North America. So there wasn't, people weren't comparing notes. They were competing to get to the West. They were competing to get to Asia because the English wanted that tea. I don't know what the French wanted, but the English wanted their tea, and they wanted to connect. Both countries wanted to trade with Asia, and so they were motivated to get there, and that's why that was a big impetus for spreading across to the west from east to west. But the English settled the coastlines, right here in Maine and all the way down. That's where they started, and the French, of course, got Quebec and that part of Canada because they were there first. And of course, Quebec is still a French-speaking province in Canada, but Canada is part of the English. I think it's a Commonwealth, maybe, but it's part of the English presence in the world. No longer a colonial world, a world that's colonized by Europe, but a world which is transitioning to something new. Nobody really knows what, but one large block of humans believe that what's emerging is a multipolar world instead of a unipolar world. The West is still sort of moving along as if it's a unipolar world with America as the empire, as America as the hegemon. But that's over. That's coming to an end. That's pretty much ended. And I feel like the only people that don't know it are the MAGA crowd, the Zionists and the MAGA crowd that's loyal to Trump. But everybody else knows it. And I think most of them now know it too, that our days of being the hegemon of the world are over, totally over. And it's time to move on and get real. So that's exciting. But yeah, being in Boston with Paul, and we had a divine appointment, which I'll wrap up with this and get to Mass and going to church at 7:00 at St. Mary's. Come and join me, St. Mary's, if you're in Augusta. Come and join me at St. Mary's, 7:00 for Mass. It's not completely full. There's enough seats for you to join me. Beautiful, beautiful church. The most beautiful church. One of the most beautiful churches in Maine, and certainly the most beautiful church in Augusta, Maine. So if you're a Protestant, it's okay. You won't get cooties if you want to visit and sit in that glorious space, that honors the feminine, in this case, Mary, the mother of Jesus Christ, who, if you're a Protestant, you worship him as the second person of the Trinity. So we share so much in common, Catholics and Protestants. And don't be afraid. Learn about it. Expose yourself to it. Learn about it, even if you end up disagreeing. So, before I diverted my attention to St. Mary's, I was going to say something, and it just went right out of my brain. Oh, the divine appointment. Paul and I were sitting on a park bench in the sun and soaking up the sun, and a young man, 29-year-old young man, sat down next to us and seemed to want to talk. So I started asking him questions, gave him our names, and come to find out, he was visiting Boston from California, Christian man from Lebanon and Syria. And we talked about the Middle East and America and Gaza and the genocide and how the Christians are being treated in Lebanon, which is now led by an Al-Qaeda terrorist, a murderer. And he's very interested in slaughtering Christians, according to this young man's testimony. But I had heard that before. So we talked about that. We talked about America and Christianity and the rally that was forming in front of us as we sat on the park bench. But it was really a delight to talk to this this young Lebanese and Syrian boy. He spoke great English. I ended up giving him a card. Hopefully he's going to stay in touch. I can't remember what he told me what his name is, but I can't remember what it is. But he's got my card, and so hopefully he'll reach out and we can stay in touch. We need to remember to pray for the Palestinians and the Christians in the Middle East who are threatened with with being murdered by us, by our support of our misguided support of the Jewish project there called Israel. Very violent. It's always been violent since 1948, and it's becoming increasingly so. And it's all on the table now that this greater Israel project, they basically want to control all of the Levant. And never ever going to happen. Not going to happen. There's not going to build a third temple. None of that's going to happen. Yeah, you really need to think beyond, especially if you're an evangelical Protestant. You have to think beyond your eschatology now. There's no other option. You've got to expose yourself to the other interpretations of those verses in the Bible. And when you make up your mind, make it up based on truth, facts, knowledge, instead of just what somebody that you probably ought not trust is telling you, standing at the front of the church or producing the book or the videos that you have become shaped by. So I'll be back in the morning at 6 with more. We'll get into Maine politics tomorrow for sure. Tomorrow and the next day, because Tuesday is election day. And yeah, thanks for joining me. And if you can afford to help me out to grow this thing and make it better and better, I would sure appreciate it. michaelheath.org/donate. And as I get ready to click end stream here in StreamYard, let's pray the our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.